What if there were ancient, esoteric, metaphysical processes that we could apply in our life to raise our base point vibration so that we could naturally feel high a majority of the time without doing any substance? No alcohol, no weed. We were able to simply elevate our frequency, and as a result, the external would then also begin to change. So this is something that is going to come from some esoteric concepts I want to share with you that I have found. Back in 2012, it completely shifted my life in so many ways, to where on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 feeling incredible, feeling high, bliss, and 1 feeling not great at all, my vibration used to be at about a 3 out of 10. And then if I were to smoke or drink, it would raise up to a 5 or 6 temporarily, and then it would fall back down. After I learned this process that I'm about to share with you and what I did to elevate my frequency, I was at a solid 7 or 8 out of 10, where 10 would be that blissful, euphoric feeling. At about a 7, I was literally feeling higher than I would if I was doing some sort of substance or something, like smoking cannabis or something. I literally felt high just being. And then if I would, out of the old pattern, do the things that used to elevate me, it would actually bring me down. It would have me feeling less positive emotion. It would have me feeling more blocked. And what would happen is, I'm not saying I'm enlightened. I'm not saying that like there aren't times the vibration dips, but now it doesn't dip down to a 3 or a 2. It dips down to like a 5 or a 6, and then I'm able to revert it back to 7 by doing this practice that I'm about to share with you. So elevating your frequency, first off, understand, this is an analogy that you can use. I learned it from Abraham Hicks. It's very simple. Think of your vibration as naturally high. You feeling high vibrational energy is who you are. Think of it as a bob on an ocean. If you have a bob on the top of an ocean and it just kind of chills on the surface of the ocean, it's buoyant, it floats. And if you were to push that bob down, it would then go under the ocean. And then if I were to say to you, well, how do you raise that bob back to the ocean, to the surface? You would say, well, it's not like you have to like push it back up. What do? You just let go. When you let go, it naturally begins to raise back up. Well, your vibration is not something you need to attain for. It's not something you need to try. You don't need to sit there with affirmations thinking, I am worthy, I am whole, I am complete, and visualize it and feel it. If you simply let go, and the processes I'm going to share with you in this video, it's going to allow you to naturally understand that it's your natural base point vibration. Like having a physical experience on earth is meant to be blissful. The only thing that keeps us feeling less than high vibrational energy is the blockages that we acquire on the process of life and in the process of life. So just to understand this energy field, now let's get into some of the esoteric concepts. Now this comes from something that's called the Law of One, also known as the raw materials. This is esoteric concepts. This information was channeled back in the 70s and the 80s. And it is considered to be some of the most profound channelings of our time, especially because there were things that were said that weren't even true yet and found out in physics that later they'd been able to look back and say, oh, that was actually proved to be right, what was being said. What was also interesting about the Law of One is the husband that was asking his wife questions and his wife was getting into a certain state of consciousness. It was a physicist. Logical, analytical physicist that was asking these high-level questions to get information. And it was like he was skeptical, but you could see in the questions he asked and some of it's kind of advanced, where sometimes I got to read it a few times to understand. But it talks about the nature of our reality, how we're moving from what is called third density into fourth density. We're literally elevated into a higher state of consciousness. It talks about what is called the harvest. The idea of this harvest is this, like the information that is here now within the collective consciousness, and the opportunity that we all have to elevate to a higher frequency is something that many of us came here for. Interestingly enough, a lot of this also correlates with Dolores Cannon and the material that she shares as well, where it's thousands of people from all over the world have gone through what is called QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, to a deep level of the subconscious mind to bring through information to why we're here. And from thousands of people all over the world, they said very similar things. We're here to be part of the shift in consciousness that's happening on the planet. We came here to wake up, because when we come into this reality, we forget who we are. And then we believe we're these 3D physical avatar bodies. We identify with the conditioning of our society, and then it keeps us blocked in lower states of consciousness because we forgot that we are spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. Now, what is this? Let me read this off to you real quick. I find this interesting. So it's talking about our energy centers inside of our body. So part of our reality is we come using these vessels. We have these energy centers within our body. We have these different what are called rays of energy, or some people call them chakras. Now, one of the questioner, the husband, who's a physicist, can you tell me a little bit more about the word balancing as we are using it? And then Ra says, love, creating light, becoming love and light, streams into the planetary sphere according to the electromagnetic web of points or nexi of entrance. These streamings are then available to the individual who, like the planet, is a web of electromagnetic energy fields with points or nexi of entrance. Think of it like you literally have these energy centers that are within your body. There is universal stream of consciousness that is always flowing through. Just like we were mentioning earlier, you don't have to try to become higher vibration. It is naturally flowing through you at any given moment. Now, the degree to which this high vibrational energy can flow through you will depend upon the flow of energy from these different chakras. If there are emotional blockages within these different emotional chakras, then that flow of energy is kinked like a hose. So remember, what do we learn so far? Now, here's the cool thing. What Ra mentions is that in a balanced individual, each energy center is balanced and functioning brightly and fully. What is said is that you don't have to activate some higher vibrational energy within each individual chakra for you to activate and to elevate your frequency. All you have to do is to balance the energy. Balance it. And that at that point of balance, what ends up happening, it says, in a balanced individual, each energy center is balanced and functioning brightly and fully. The blockages of your planetary sphere cause some distortion of intelligent energy. The blockages of the mind-body-spirit complex further distort and unbalance the energy. Let's take this a little bit further. Could it be that a lot of the media, a lot of the things we see in our reality inhibit and block the energy centers within all the people? Imagine if your root chakra, which is related to your survival and your sexuality, imagine that all you see in society is this toxic viewpoint of fear into everything. Like, you turn on the news media, what do you see? Have you ever even one time turned on the news and seen something positive? Maybe once or twice. 99.9% of the time, it's negative stuff on the news that puts people into a fear mentality. Well, guess what happens when people are in a fear mentality? It kinks up the hose of their red ray, or the root chakra, puts them in fight or flight, and they're not lit up like a Christmas tree naturally. Fear. Oh, what's around me right now? There's stuff going on. Energy is then closed off. And that's just one chakra out of the 7. We've got the sacral chakra. We've got the solar plexus, which is right in between the heart and the belly button. We have that of the heart chakra. We have the throat. We have the third eye. We have the crown. These chakra points, these energy points within inside of our body, as we begin to clear the energy fields and the blockages, what we end up doing is in the clearing of these energy blockages, we end up allowing higher vibrational light to flow through. Now you're probably wondering, in the beginning of this video, I told the story of how I went from feeling at a solid 3 or 4 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. What was it that completely shifted my life? It had to do with understanding and bringing the energy into my body and meditating and feeling the energy raise up. Now, in 2012, I went through my spiritual awakening. Prior to that, I felt like I was in a form of box. That box was, I was recreating my similar familiar childhood past in my life over and over again, not even aware of it. And I had these stories that were on autopilot. I had these stories that people try to control me. I have to fight for my freedom. I felt like there was something wrong with me. There was a lot of shame around having what's called ADHD, because I would take Adderall, which would help me focus at work. And then the side effects of Adderall, where you couldn't eat or sleep very much. So here I was taking Adderall at work and then smoking cannabis at night just so I could get an appetite and so I could sleep. I was on this hamster wheel. And then eventually I was like, there's got to be some other thing I could do without taking Adderall that would transform my life with no negative side effects. And that's when I did a little bit of research and came across that of meditation. And meditation, observing your thoughts, bringing your awareness inside of your body. I committed to that, and literally within 2 weeks of committing to meditation, and the game changer was observing my thoughts rather than reacting to them. Because think about it, if you're reacting, activating blockages, there is a separation that was created between my thinking and being. And as I observed my thoughts, there's almost like more energy would flow through. And the key was observing it, not trying to control. And I'll talk in a minute, by the way, about what Ra says about how to clear these energy blockages that completely makes it so easy to understand. It's simple, yet life-changing. It's something I've applied to my life, I've taught at my live events, and I've seen thousands of people transform from it. And it's simple. So when you talk about this, and we talk about the energy flowing through your body, understand that your vibration is naturally high. Awareness allows you to neutralize the energy flow, observing your thoughts without trying to control. And as you do that, it's like you allow higher vibrational energy to naturally flow through. So when I began meditating, observing my thoughts in 2012, within 2 or 3 weeks, I quit smoking cannabis and I completely stopped cold turkey taking Adderall. There was this presence that began to build inside of me, where I would go to work and people would ask me, what's going on? You're so different. People started, at first I think there was shame, there was like what's wrong with you? Why are you so quiet now? There's something wrong because I'm more present and quiet versus me like always acting out and having all this excess energy. And literally within weeks, my whole entire life transformed. A side effect of this too was there was a certain like energy flow of like forgiving some things from my past, and within weeks, manager got fired at the job that I worked at that was representative of my old stepmom energy. I started being completely different. The funny thing was I wasn't smoking, drinking, doing anything, and I felt high. And I remember walking around my room wondering, is this feeling gonna go away? Like, is this base point? It felt literally too good to be true. And what happened is that became the natural base point. Of course it fluctuates. There are times that it goes down, but it reverts back to a higher base point than it was before. I believe that your natural vibration, your natural set point is to feel high vibrational energy through your body a majority of the time. The only reason it's not that way is because there are blockages in the energy centers. There are blockages in the chakras. Now understand as well, chakras and the understanding and the knowledge of chakras have been around for thousands and thousands of years. This isn't some new age thing. This is something that's been around for thousands of years. Chakras are also known as wheels of energy. And there are these wheels of energy that can pump energy up through your bodily system, but if there's blockages there, it stops that wheel from turning. It kinks the hose of your vibration. So a huge part of this is unkinking the hose by becoming aware of these subconscious blocks. Becoming aware of what the energy is and becoming aware of the stories, the beliefs, the definitions that are there. Now, each of these chakras relates to a very specific theme of energy. Red, survival and sex. Sacral chakra generally is related to your relationship with other people, your sense of self-identity, your family many times. Solar plexus is the connection to willpower and your connection to a social system, sometimes your culture, your connection to others in like more of a society form than just a one-on-one form, willpower. And then the heart, your connection to source energy, God, other people. Now, here's an interesting thing it talks about, is that in order to move into the heart, what the law of one talks about is you must balance, not just activate, balance and clear the bottom 3 chakras. And as you do, you naturally begin to move more into the heart. So that means many times balancing out and becoming aware of what your associations are with your survival state, regulating your nervous system with the red ray chakra or the root chakra. Your relationship with sex, with pornography and the things going on in the planet, with like how people are so addicted to that, there's such an imbalance of that chakra. And then in society, you look around and there's this fear, there's the media, there's all these things that just create blockages within the energy system. And that's why observing your thoughts and taking your energy away from what everyone else wants you to do, taking your energy away from the addictions of the vape pen, the Juul or whatever it's called, those things keep you blocked. I believe as well, funny enough, after I raised my frequency, anytime I would smoke or drink, it would bring my vibration down. Eventually I'm like, why am I doing this? It'd bring my vibration down because it creates blockages in your energy field. And if you're like, well, Aaron, right now, when I smoke, I feel high. Well, that's only because the base point with blocks in it, it's not high, you feel a relief for a minute. You feel a relief from the resistance and the blockages. But then once it goes away, it goes back down. Your natural base point is meant to be higher than whatever the cannabis or alcohol or anything does. But you have to clear out that energy field. Now let's see, I want to show you what Ra says about that, of clearing the energy, because I find it very interesting. It's very simple. And a word of caution before I share this is one thing the law of one in the raw materials does say as well, it's kind of like a warning, is that individuals that attempt to activate higher chakras before dealing with the fundamental ones actually end up causing an energy imbalance. So what happens is you get a lot of people that are into spirituality, they want to activate the third eye, they want to activate their crown chakra, they want to connect to source consciousness. And when they set that intention and they do that, and they continue to set that intention and do practices for that, without balancing the bottom 3 chakras, it creates an incredible energy imbalance. So it does more harm than good. So understand, your ability to go higher into your spiritual practice, higher into the higher realms, it depends upon how grounded you are and how balanced the bottom 3 chakras are. The deeper you go and the more you feel and heal the bottom 3 chakras, the higher up you can go into the higher energies. So first off, I wanted to just say that because I do think it's an important thing to mention. Now, according to Ra, here's what it said about energy blockages. Here we go. You must transmute it first by accepting the emotion, not by judging it, ignoring it, or stuffing it down, and allowing yourself to fully feel it in a safe way without causing harm to another, and then balancing that emotion with an equal amount of opposing positive emotion. Ra also states that the key to processing catalysts for someone on the positive path is acceptance, while someone on the negative path will always try to control the catalyst. So think about that. When the positive or negative response to this is positive is acceptance, negative is control. I'm trying to control my thoughts. I'm trying to control my emotions. I shouldn't be feeling this way. I'm going to stuff it down and then I'm going to project it and control other people to be the way I want them to be. That's the negative way to go about it. What Ra literally says is to balance out these different chakras, these different energy systems. What you want to do is accept it, not judge it, allow it to be there, feel it in a safe way, and then meet it with a level of love and acceptance. And as you do, you begin to clear out the energy centers inside of your body. And that allows you to completely shift into a higher frequency. So this is exactly what I've done to completely elevate my own frequency, where I don't smoke cannabis, I don't drink, I don't even do caffeine. I'm not saying this to brag, I'm just saying, like, people ask me all the time, why do you have so much energy? Why are you so energetic? Then they find out I don't drink caffeine. They find out I don't drink alcohol. I'm just naturally feeling high as my natural base point. And I believe every single person has the ability to resonate at that frequency. But it does require a cleaning of the energy systems, the energy centers of these different chakras, clearing the energy as you go up. This information has been around for thousands and thousands of years. And in this esoteric concepts, in this esoteric teachings, think about it. Source energy is naturally flowing through you at any given moment. The only reason it's not, or it feels like it's not, is because we're blocking it, we're kinking up the hose because we're attached to perspectives. We're attached to what people are doing to us. We're attached to throwing away our power. We're attached to not feeling the emotion and instead pushing it down. Then it stays locked up as a pressure cooker inside the body. So one of the best things you could do is to develop a meditation practice of feeling inside that, of your different, inside of your body, bringing the energy up your field and releasing tension in each part of this body system, of your bodily system. You can focus on, honestly, meditation for me has been the most powerful transition thing I've ever experienced when it comes to elevating my frequency, releasing these energy blocks, because then you feel it, you heal it, you can accept it, and your vibration will naturally begin to raise. Now, once you clear out those bottom three chakras, it's like then your third eye opens. You do get higher insights. You do feel more connected. And it's like you're removing the blocks, the kinks in the hose from that natural connection to source energy that you already have within you if you allow yourself to simply feel it. Now, I do have a chakra meditation. It's one of the most powerful meditations I have ever made. You energetically go within your energy system through an elevator. I mean, I'll just kind of give you away some of the subconscious parts of it. And you go to each individual floor and chakra, and you explore your consciousness and clear out those different systems, those different energies within your body, and you move up. And as you move past the solar plexus, you clear the bottom three, you're able to open up your heart and create a connection to the higher source that you already have, but it's a more clear connection. It's one of the most powerful meditations I have ever created. If you want to check it out, I'll go ahead and link it below. And if you want one of the most powerful meditations I've ever created that's free on YouTube for elevating your vibration, over 2 million people have done it, and read the comments just to see what's possible. But this meditation right here will raise your dominant vibration permanently.